Getting a landlord to say yes to Airbnb is the number one thing that stops most people from getting started in the Airbnb business. I hear it all the time. Man, this landlord won't let me Airbnb the property. They won't let me, they keep telling me no. All I keep hearing is no from property managers, landlords. They're trying to get me out of the property. All of it. I'm here to tell you, you're not alone. I get it. I've been through it. I've been through it before. The biggest thing is landlords don't say no to Airbnb. They say no to a bad pitch. So it's about having the right information. So in this video, I'm going to break down to you the exact landlord Airbnb pitch that I use, plus the 3 things that landlords care about, actually, and then objections to overcome what a landlord might say. Stick with me, stay tuned. All right, so before I give you the pitch and how we approach the landlords and property managers, we got to get into understanding what the landlords are thinking, how the property managers are thinking, right? So when they hear the word Airbnb, the better you are at acquiring a property for Airbnb arbitrage, you have to put yourself in their shoes. That's in anything. What are they thinking about? How does this help them, right? What would be objections for them? How would they look at this, right? So what landlords are thinking, like strangers in their place, okay? It's different than a long-term tenant. They're thinking about strangers in their place. They're thinking about things breaking, damages, right? The wear and tear and potential parties. This is what they're automatically thinking. The minute you say the word Airbnb, they're thinking that. That's because they've seen that on social media. They're seeing it on the news. The 2 to 5% negative is broadcasted. Okay, so they're thinking about their party. They're thinking about their property, their mortgage, long term, right? The value of their property, even liability with their property. Those are the things that they're pitching. So if they're saying no to you, they're saying no to the version of you that doesn't know exactly how to approach it and how to cater to their needs. Your job is to figure out what they want, figure out what their need, what their goals are, what's the biggest concerns for this property, and then present your business model, then present Airbnb and how it works for you and how you handle your business professionally. So the 3 things, this is huge, okay? These are the 3 things that every landlord cares about. I don't care what location, where you are, where you operate at. Every landlord, guaranteed 95% of landlords are going to care about these 3 things. Okay, so this is the solution. This is what you provide. This is what we provide as a short-term rental operator, right? So landlords are caring about guaranteed rent. Number 1, if you're writing this down, it's guaranteed rent. Okay, if you're a property owner or a landlord, if you've been one, you understand this too, right? So if you own properties before, which I have, you understand this too, okay? So you care about, am I going to be getting consistent rent every month, guaranteed, no matter what? Long-term tenants, there is a risk that things happen, they lose a job, they can't pay their rent, right? Or they only want to sign a 6-month lease or a year lease, and every year there's vacancy, right? So number 1, guaranteed rent. Number 2, we can solve that problem because as a company, you need the place to operate so that you can pay your bills and you can make money, right? So number 2 is a well-maintained property. As a short-term rental operator, we have to take care of the property. If we don't, we won't be able to pay rent and we won't be able to make a profit. So it's a win-win. It's a misconception that somebody doing Airbnb is not going to take care of the property. A good operator is going to take care of the property. You're going to keep it clean. You're cleaning it 2, 3, 4 times a week. You have to have that place clean or you're not going to make any money. 0. Think about that, right? No, recap, guaranteed rent. And we're gonna and the landlord cares about a well-maintained property. They don't want any damages. Write this down. Short-term rental operators take care of the property better than a tenant that's been in there for 5 years and is a hoarder, and that thing is a junk. It's full of junk. Okay, so and the last thing is they also don't want to deal with evictions. Okay, evicting tenants, any drama, domestic issues, anything, no drama, right? No family drama. Long-term tenants come with drama. As a professional operator, we don't come with drama. Right? We're getting rid of that immediately. We're being proactive and protecting away from that stuff immediately. Okay? So our business model is set up to protect the property. So it's giving them another professional eyes on the property. So these are the things that landlords care about. They want that guaranteed rent. They want consistency in rent. They want a well-maintained property. They don't want damages. They want somebody that's going to take care of their property. Okay? They want to limit evictions. They want to limit drama. Those are the three things. All right, here's the pitch. Here's what you say. Okay? So that you can stop making these mistakes, you want to change your verbiage. You want to change your approach, right? So we went into the mindset and the psychology and the benefits of being a short-term rental operator and leasing their property to be able to put it on Airbnb and other platforms, right? The biggest thing before I get into the pitch is confidence, right? Confidence and belief. Before you sell anything, you have to believe it. You have to be confident in it. You got to sell yourself first. You have to know the benefits. So study those benefits. All right, so here's what we do. Here's what we say. Hey, hi, my name is so-and-so. Hey, I'm Jamal. If you're new, I'm a corporate short-term rental operator. I own a short-term rental company. We are looking for, and you're going to say the studios, one bedroom. We're looking for really maintained one bedroom apartments in the area. We provide furnished accommodation to this type of clientele. Corporate travelers, traveling nurses, relocating families, large families, students, whatever your clientele is, you need to know your clientele. We provide it to these type of clientele. We network, we market the property to get this type of clientele and they stay with us for any amount of weeks, days, or months. Okay. We professionally take care of the property. We clean it multiple times a week. We do this really well that we really are able to stay profitable, and we want to create a long-term relationship and sign a long-term lease. That's it. Okay. That is the basics of the framework of the conversation that you need to have. Okay. So instead of, I want to Airbnb your property. Hey, do you allow Airbnb? Hey, I'm an Airbnb business. I want to Airbnb your property. That's not the conversation we're having. That's a bad look on the industry. You really need to know your approach. Okay. You really need to know what you're doing, how you do it, and confident that you do it well. And if you are new, you can borrow somebody's confidence, which is why I'm making that video. You can borrow confidence to be able to present that to the landlord or the property manager. Okay. That's the framework. Now you're going to have to work from there as far as rebuttals, objections. There's going to be things, every property is different, but you need to work out your business model, figure out what your model is, who you attract, what type of guests, and work that into that framework. Okay, so common objections, right? So if you are new, this is for my new operators, okay? This is not, if you're trying to if you're experienced, and I know the dude's going to get 20 apartments in a high class A apartment building. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about getting 20 units, 30 units at a time in apartment buildings. No, right? New operators, how I approached it when I was new. Your first property most likely is going to be with a private landlord, okay? It's a little bit more layered when you're dealing with corporate apartment owners, okay? But private landlords, you want to have that conversation. You want to develop that relationship. So corporate owners, private landlords, what's the objection? You know, their objection could be the neighbors, right? So you got to do your diligence. Obviously, come prepared, knowing the area the regulations, right? Those are objections you got to be prepared for. So you need to do some research, do it yourself research on that. Also, well, if you are operating and you vet your guest, if you have a vetting process with your guests, and if you are really particular about who stays and you have rules in place, that limits the any chances of noise violations, parties, etc. Okay, Airbnb does a good job, but they have a review system they have that you can use. They also vet bad guests themselves. So knowing the Airbnb business will help that objection. So neighbors, the landlord can feel really comfortable that you have a process in place to eliminate those type of guests. You don't even allow those type of guests. Okay, so the most common objection is we just hit the neighbors, the noise. You're going to know the regulations in the HOA in the area. Is this a sublease? Well, sublease, if the leaseholder or the property owner gives you permission as a company, right? Or they gives you permission to sublease and you have that on the lease in writing, then you're good to go with that. So a lot of this is educating the landlord as well. If you get that objection, what other objections? So we talked about neighbors, we talked about damages, right? And we talked about subleasing, okay? And then he might talk about, what if you can't rent anybody? What if it doesn't work out? That's the risk too. But the objection to that is you're taking a risk, right? But you use 1, 2, 3, 4 multiple platforms to be able to book. You use your own marketing plus multiple platforms, VRBO, Booking, whatever's in your area, Booking.com, Airbnb, multiple platforms, and you've done the research that even if you're booked at 50%, you'll be able to pay the rent. So if you give him confidence, or him or her confidence, that should handle that. So those are the common objections. Hopefully that helps. Truth is, the biggest thing is Airbnb business is a numbers game. Getting a landlord to say yes is a numbers game, okay? And it's not easy, but you're gonna have to put the work in up front. You're gonna have to call 20, 25, 40, 50 landlords, property managers a day to get the kinks out, to get the work the script, make sure you have it down. It's a numbers game. You want to get one yes, make 50 calls. Okay? So hopefully that works for you. Start calling, work on the pitch, work on your business model, work on your approach. If you want more support in getting your first unit, okay? Getting your first arbitrage unit, Airbnb arbitrage unit, which is the first part of the Airbnb cash flow method. If you want one arbitrage unit, and then we're going to get one co-hosting unit, I put together a one-on-one coaching program to get your first unit, to help you get your first unit in 90 days or less. If not, I'll work with you guaranteed for free all the way up until you get your first unit. So there's going to be a link in the description. If you want support, if you want to head that direction for some coaching, click the link. Other than that, click the link, the like button for support. Subscribe if you want more videos like that. All of that is appreciated. And I'll see you guys in the next video.